The crystal chandeliers of the Ritz-Carlton ballroom sparkled overhead as I watched my family orchestrate what they considered the social event of the season, my father's 60th birthday celebration. From my carefully assigned corner table, tucked behind a massive flower arrangement, I had a perfect view of the corporate theater playing out before me. "Katherine, darling, you can't sit back there," my sister Amanda called out, her Dior gown swishing as she approached. "That's where we put, well, you know." She gestured vaguely at my modest attire, a deceptively simple black dress that had actually cost more than her car. "The failed daughter belongs in the back," she added in a stage whisper. "We can't have Dad's employees thinking his youngest doesn't meet the family standard." I smiled, fingering the delicate platinum watch on my wrist, a private reminder of who really owned this moment. "Don't worry, Amanda. I'm quite comfortable watching from here." My phone buzzed discreetly, another message from my CEO. "Final paperwork completed. Global Dynamics acquisition of Morrison Industries is now official. Shall we proceed with the announcement at the party?" Global Dynamics, my company, though nobody in this room knew that. The mysterious corporation that had been systematically acquiring technology companies across 3 continents, including, as of 10 minutes ago, my father's precious Morrison Industries. "Katherine." My mother's voice cut through my thoughts. "At least try to look presentable. Mr. Chin from Global Dynamics is coming tonight. This could be your father's biggest deal yet." If she only knew that Mr. Chin was actually my employee, carefully positioned to handle the public face of negotiations while I orchestrated everything from the shadows. The biggest deal yet had been signed this morning by me. "Yes, Mother," I replied dutifully. "I'll try not to embarrass anyone." She pursed her lips, taking in my appearance. "Really, darling, you could have made an effort. Your sister's handling the client presentations now. She could have advised you on proper business attire." I didn't mention that my simple dress was a one-of-a-kind piece from a designer who only served private clients, or that the understated jewelry I wore could have bought a small island. Let them think I couldn't afford better. The revelation would be sweeter that way. My phone lit up again. "Mr. Chin has arrived. Ready to proceed with Protocol Omega?" Protocol Omega, our coded term for the final phase of any major acquisition. The moment when the mysterious owner of Global Dynamics would finally be revealed to the acquired company's leadership. I watched my father holding court near the main table, bragging about Morrison Industries' latest technological breakthroughs, all of which had actually been quietly funded through one of my subsidiary companies. His pride in the company he'd built was touching, even if he'd never acknowledged my potential to contribute to it. "Remember when Katherine tried to suggest changes to the Asia expansion?" Amanda was telling a group of executives, laughing. "Dad had to explain basic business concepts to her like she was still in kindergarten." The executives chuckled politely, unaware that the basic business concepts I'd suggested had later been implemented by Global Dynamics across its Asian operations, generating billions in revenue. "Ladies and gentlemen," the evening's MC announced, "please welcome Mr. James Chin, representing Global Dynamics." The crowd applauded as my employee walked in, carrying himself with the authority I'd hired him for. I watched my father's eyes light up with anticipation. He'd been pursuing this deal for months, thinking he was the one in control of negotiations. "Mr. Morrison," James began, bowing slightly. "Global Dynamics is honored to, His eyes had found me in my corner, and right on cue he stopped mid-sentence. The carefully rehearsed moment of recognition played out perfectly. "Madam Owner," he exclaimed loud enough for everyone to hear. "I didn't expect you to be here personally." The silence that fell over the ballroom was absolute. Hundreds of champagne glasses froze mid-toast as every head turned first to James, then followed his gaze to my corner table. "Owner." My father's voice cracked. "What owner?" I stood slowly, enjoying the dramatic reveal we'd planned. "Hello, Mr. Chin. I trust the paperwork is in order." "Yes, Madam Owner," he replied formally. "Morrison Industries is now officially part of Global Dynamics." Amanda's champagne glass slipped from her fingers, shattering on the marble floor. What is he talking about?" I stepped out from behind the flower arrangement, finally allowing myself to move with the authority I'd hidden for so long. "I believe Mr. Chin is referring to the acquisition agreement that was finalized this morning. Global Dynamics now owns Morrison Industries." But that's impossible," my father stuttered. I've been negotiating with Global Dynamics for months. With Mr. Chin, I corrected gently. Who reports to me. Did you never wonder why a company as large as Global Dynamics would send only one representative to handle such a major acquisition? The ballroom had gone deathly quiet, the birthday celebration frozen in a tableau of shock and disbelief. Every executive who'd dismissed me, every board member who'd laughed at my suggestions, every family member who'd relegated me to the back of the room, all of them were suddenly realizing who really controlled their professional futures. The silence in the ballroom was broken by the sound of my mother's pearls hitting her champagne glass as her hand flew to her throat. Katherine, what have you done? I smiled, remembering all the times she'd asked that same question, usually followed by a lecture about my inadequacies. I built something, Mother. Something rather substantial as it happens. My phone buzzed again and I deliberately took it out, displaying the latest headlines for everyone to see. Global Dynamics acquires Morrison Industries in $4.2 billion deal. Tech giant's mysteriously expands empire. Wall Street stunned by Morrison acquisition. Amanda pushed forward, her perfect composure cracking. This is ridiculous. You can't possibly, you're not capable of running a multi-billion-dollar technology conglomerate? I finished for her. Strange. That's exactly what you said when I suggested modernizing Dad's Asian operations. Those changes you implemented last year? They came from my company's playbook. My father had sunk into a chair, his face ashen. But Global Dynamics, they're the largest tech innovator in the world. Their mysterious CEO is said to be a genius. Thank you, Dad, I said softly. That might be the first compliment you've given me in years, even if you didn't know it was for me. Mr. Chin stepped forward, handling his role perfectly. Madam Owner, shall I brief the board about the transition plans? Actually, I replied, I think it's time I did that myself. After all, it's a family company now. Just, not the family everyone thought. The crowd parted as I walked to the podium, years of hidden authority finally visible in my stride. The security team, my security team, moved into position around the room. Ladies and gentlemen, I began, I suppose this isn't quite the birthday surprise my father was expecting. But then, expectations have always been an interesting thing in this family. The room was dead silent, every eye fixed on me. The daughter they'd dismissed was now revealed as their owner, and the weight of that realization was palpable. For those who haven't connected the dots yet, allow me to introduce myself properly. I'm Katherine Morrison, founder and CEO of Global Dynamics. You might know us from our revolutionary AI developments, our quantum computing breakthroughs, or perhaps from the fact that we now own Morrison Industries. Amanda's face had turned an interesting shade of pale. But your little consulting business was a front, I explained. Every failed project, every simple suggestion, they were all market research for Global Dynamics. While you were mocking my small office in the suburbs, I was building one of the largest tech companies in the world. My mother had found her voice again. Why didn't you tell us? Would you have believed me? I asked quietly. Or would you have tried to take control like you did with every other aspect of my life? Sometimes, Mother, being underestimated is the greatest advantage one can have. The crowd murmured as another breaking news alert flashed across the screens. Global Dynamics revealed. Katherine Morrison steps into spotlight. Tech world stunned as failed daughter emerges as industry titan. You'll notice, I continued from the podium, that Morrison Industries stock has already jumped 40% on news of the acquisition. You're welcome, Dad. Consider it my birthday gift to you, saving the company you thought I couldn't understand. My father's hands trembled as he reached for his phone, no doubt checking the stock alerts flooding in. The company he'd built, then watched falter in recent years, had just tripled in value under his incapable daughter's leadership. Now, I addressed the stunned executives, let's discuss the transition plan. Global Dynamics will be implementing several changes, starting with the Asian market strategy one proposed 3 years ago, the one that Amanda said showed my fundamental lack of business acumen. Amanda flinched visibly. Katie, I never meant to dismiss every idea I ever had. I finished. To relegate me to the corner at every family event? To tell Dad I was embarrassing the Morrison name when I started my little consulting business? Funny how perspectives change when the power dynamic shifts. Mr. Chin stepped forward with a leather portfolio. The complete transition documents, Madam Owner, including the new board appointments and executive restructuring plans. I opened the portfolio, enjoying the tension that filled the room. Every person there knew their professional future now rested in my hands, the hands they deemed incapable of real business. Mr. Peterson, I called out to our longtime CFO, who'd once patted my head and told me to leave the numbers to the grown-ups. You'll be interested in page 12. It details our new financial integration strategy, remarkably similar to the one I suggested in 2019, isn't it? Peterson's face reddened as he remembered his dismissive laughter at my proposals. Those same proposals had just made Global Dynamics another $1 billion. My mother attempted to salvage the situation with her usual social grace. Darling, this is wonderful news. We always knew you had potential. Did you? I turned to her. Is that why you told the board last month that I couldn't handle real corporate responsibility? I was there, Mother, serving coffee as part of my consulting work. Amazing how invisible service staff can be during important meetings. The ballroom had transformed from a birthday celebration into what the press would later call the Morrison Revelation. Executives who'd ignored my input now stood at attention, waiting for instructions from their new CEO. Board members who'd laughed at my suggestions were frantically reviewing Global Dynamics' impressive portfolio. My phone buzzed with another message. Asian markets opening. Morrison Industries stock up 60%. Global Dynamics shares soaring. Wall Street calling for immediate interviews. Ladies and gentlemen, I addressed the room again. I believe we're here to celebrate my father's birthday. Though perhaps we should also celebrate the revelation that the daughter you all dismissed as a failure now owns not just Morrison Industries, but half the tech companies you do business with. The screens around the ballroom flashed with more breaking news. Global Dynamics Empire. The hidden tech giant. Katherine Morrison, from family outcast to tech titan. Wall Street reacts to Morrison revelation. Amanda approached me, her earlier condescension replaced with desperate networking. Katie, about all those things I said. Save it, I cut her off quietly. Your performance review is next week. I suggest you spend your time preparing for that instead. My father finally stood up, his birthday celebration forgotten in the wake of this revelation. Katherine, the company, how did you build an empire while you were busy telling me I couldn't? I finished. It's amazing what one can accomplish without the weight of family expectations. Every time you told me I wasn't good enough, I bought another company. Every time Amanda mocked my ideas, I implemented them globally. Every time Mother suggested I find a nice corporate husband to take care of me, I acquired another technology patent. The reporters who'd come to cover a simple birthday party were now scrambling for exclusive interviews with the revealed tech mogul. Photographers who'd been instructed to focus on Amanda's perfect pose were now fighting for shots of the real power in the room. Miss Morrison, how does it feel to be revealed as tech's most mysterious innovator? What inspired you to build in secret? Was your family's dismissal part of your strategy? I stepped back to the microphone, my voice clear and confident. Success doesn't always wear the name tag you expect. I chose to build Global Dynamics away from preconceptions and family expectations. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just success. It's success that rewrites the entire narrative. The evening wound down, the birthday celebration transformed into something entirely different. As guests filed out, whispering about the shocking revelation, I found myself alone with my family in what was now my boardroom. Why? My mother asked simply. Because you never would have let me do it my way, I replied. Every step would have been questioned, every decision second-guessed. Sometimes the only way to prove yourself is to do it without an audience. My father stared at his hands. The Asian expansion, the tech innovations, the market strategies. All came from your failed daughter, I confirmed. Every breakthrough you praised, every innovation you admired, they all came from the mind you deemed inadequate. Amanda couldn't meet my eyes. All those times I said you couldn't handle real business were excellent motivation, I smiled. Though you might want to update your resume. Global Dynamics has very high standards for its executives. My phone buzzed one final time. The markets had closed in Asia, and Morrison Industries stock had hit another record high. The empire built in secret had finally stepped into the light. "The office opens at 9 tomorrow," I said, gathering my things. "I have a global technology empire to run. Or as Amanda used to say, my little consulting business to manage." As I walked out of the boardroom, my boardroom, I heard my father's quiet voice. "We were wrong about everything." "Not everything," I called back. "You taught me that success requires innovation. You just didn't realize who would be doing the innovating." I turned back one last time before leaving the boardroom, taking in the scene of my shell-shocked family. "Oh, and Dad? Happy birthday. The gift I mentioned earlier. There's more to it than just saving your company." I pulled out an envelope and placed it on the boardroom table. "Inside, you'll find the details of your new position at Global Dynamics. Consider it a retirement plan upgrade. You'll be heading our Legacy Innovation Department, where all those simple ideas you dismissed will be developed into tomorrow's technologies." My mother reached for the envelope with trembling hands, but I held up a finger to stop her. Company confidential. Only board members can view that." I smiled sweetly. "Don't worry though. I'm sure Amanda will tell you all about her new role in the maintenance department. After all, she always said she needed to clean up after my business mistakes." With that final twist of the knife, I walked out, my heels clicking on the marble floor, the sound of success built on the foundation of their doubt. The headlines would continue for weeks, but the sweetest victory was in that moment, knowing that every future family dinner would be served with a hefty side of humble pie.